It's finally time, guys. My Hello Reef tank, this 15-gallon saltwater tank, is finally fully cycled, balanced, and ready for our clownfish. Let's head over to the store and see what they got. We're here in Phoenix at Ocean Floor, one of the biggest fish store that I personally know of. They have everything, saltwater, freshwater, any type of brand you possibly can imagine. And we're here getting some clownfish and probably some extra stuff. Let's head on in and see all the cool stuff that they got. Right when you walk into Ocean Floor, guys, you're gonna be greeted by this monster mega tank. I have no idea the gallonage of it, but as you can see, I'm 6'2", and this tank is probably well over 10 feet tall. Something I love that they do for their big fish here in their display tanks is they actually have names for them. So right here you can see the giant gourami is named ChickenBreast. We got the little tiger shovel nose named Dwayne. We got Richard, Bert and Ernie, and little chili dog. And as you can tell, Bert and Ernie are gonna be those massive silver arowanas up there. They look like just floating dragons. And there's ChickenBreast. He does look like a big old chicken breast. Shovel nose catfish. And at Ocean Floor, not only do they have all the aquarium products you can look for, they also carry all the unique and crazy big fish tanks that you're looking for. They have, you know, your average 240 tank, all the way up to a 750-gallon acrylic fish tank. You know, it's a cool 20 grand, not that bad, right? I couldn't even imagine setting up a scape like this. I know it's coming in the future, but this is what I'm talking about. I wanna have, you know, 2 or 3 of these in just a massive studio just to get the huge fish that we want. You know, get some peacock bass in there, get some arowanas in there, get some huge catfish in there. Something like this would just be so much fun. And check this out, guys. They have a huge indoor koi pond in here that separates their entire store. It's just an experience. You can hear the running water. Super cool. We're gonna get a closer look on the koi that are inside of this indoor pond here in a second. All right, and after you cross the indoor pond, you'll come over to one of their bigger saltwater display tanks, and there is a massive Klaus eel. I hope I'm saying that right. This guy looks insane. And as we keep on walking through the store, we're gonna come to their massive product section. I kind of relate this store to the Costco of the fish stores, just because if you have a product that you're looking for, I guarantee you Ocean Floor carries it because they have all the brands. Let's check them out. As we're walking through, you can see they have pumps, they got filters, tanks, lights, and how I know Ocean Floor is a good store is they're carrying some ChickenBreast products. Follow that whale, guys. And of course, guys, you know I'm gonna talk about this fancy case right here. Our guys over at Aqua Illumination keeping our tanks bright and illuminated. It looks like they have all the Aqua Illumination products that you would need. So if you're looking for a new prime light, a new freshwater light, a new Orbit 2 pump, anything you need Aqua Illumination, it looks like they got you covered. So now we're moving over to the saltwater fish section, and luckily enough today on shift, we have the saltwater expert here, and she's willing to give us a little insight on how best to pick out your clownfish, or better yet, just picking out saltwater fish.
Yep.
And so what do you recommend?
So first things first, we already picked out some clowns for you, but the 3 main things I was looking for was making sure they're not really skinny, making sure they're swimming around nice and healthy and happy, and then also making sure that they're going to eat. So I already fed them, just so you know, but make sure they're coming up to the top of the water often and moving around. When they poop, make sure there's no stringiness, because if there's white stringiness, that is a sign of parasites.
Okay.
Same with the skinniness.
Okay.
But these guys are showing all signs of happiness, like being thick, swimming around nice and happy.
They look perfect.
Yep.
What
no
type of
frayed
clownfish
fins.
are these again?
So these are the blacker ice. So they're a type of snowflake clownfish, but they're the black version.
And then how big do these guys get?
So they grow an inch a year for 3 to 4 years.
Wow, okay, so they'll get kind of chunky.
Yeah,
That's
they can
awesome.
get to about 3 to 4 inches. And then like you were saying before, there's gonna be that one big dominant female. That's why you have one that's slightly bigger and one that's slightly smaller, so they can figure their story out.
Talk to me about that, because I'm sure my viewers that are freshwater, they don't know about this.
Yeah.
But the clownfish and their genders, how does that work?
Yep. In the wild, there's like over 100 clownfish that'll swim together, but there's usually only that one big dominant female that takes care of everybody. And then if she were to pass away, there would be also the alpha male that would end up turning into that female.
They turn into a female?
Yes.
How long does that process take?
So it usually doesn't take very long. If you lose one female, it usually only takes a month for another male to turn into that dominant female.
That is crazy. Well, I guess we're gonna be waiting to see which one of these ones turns into the female. We picked out the bigger one to potentially be that female, and I am excited to watch that whole process. And all right, and this is a little section that caught my eye. They have a designer section for clownfish and other really cool saltwater creatures. And I just wanted to show you how cool some of these clownfish are. This is an orange storm ocellaris. And when I say that they're a designer bred clownfish, that means they are purposely targeted to be bred with that pattern and that coloration. So as you can tell, the price on these guys are quite expensive. I'm definitely not comfortable getting a fish that expensive yet, and I urge you guys to do the same. If you guys have even the smallest amount of doubt that you're getting a fish that's beyond your experience or expertise, then that means you probably should not get it. Get a little bit less one that's a little bit more beginner friendly, and you're gonna have a blast doing it. So we're doing a little special tour. We have MK, the saltwater expert, giving us a coral tour. I don't really know the corals well enough to talk to you guys about them, so let's get an expert.
I'll come over here and give you the most simple way to explain corals. There's 3 different kinds. There's soft corals, which are the easy ones that usually don't need a whole lot of lighting. And then there's LPS, which is large polyp stony. Like, let me show you the best one. So usually like there's acans, or this is a Duncan, or you can get like a hammer. So over here we have a neon hammer. That would be an LPS, so that would be like the second step in taking care of coral. And that would usually means medium to low flow, but also higher lighting. And then once you get into the SPS, that's when you need higher flow and higher lighting. A give or take, it's different for each coral, but like these ones would be considered SPS. That really bright red one is an SPS, so this would be on the top of your tank usually with more medium to high flow. So those are the 3 main ones. This is a Monty, so this is gonna grow kind of like a disc shape in your tank, which is really cool to see.
Do you have any of the zoas? I've always heard that zoas are super cool.
They're the best beginner coral too,
Really?
because they're a softie. Yep.
Okay, I thought they would be more for experienced people.
Nope. So over here, this whole row is all different kinds of zoas. And then there's some over here too. But yeah, anything that says soft is usually the best beginner stuff. So like this one is called a people eater palizoa because it's got that yellow mouth.
And MK, for our clownfish, they need an anemone. What do you recommend in terms of anemones?
Yeah, so they don't necessarily need an anemone, but it is pretty cool.
Okay.
Most clownfish are captive bred, so at this point they don't know what an anemone is. You have to give them some time to figure it out, and once they do, they'll rub up in it. It's really cute to watch. This is probably not the best option until they get bigger, but there's some rainbow bubble tips in here. Most clownfish host the bubble tip anemones.
Okay.
So if you come over here, we have green bubble tip nems. These ones are decent size. Most clownfish will host that type of a nem.
It looks like an alien.
Yeah.
I love that. That is so cool. And now, do you feed those like an actual fish? Because a lot of people think corals are like a plant, but it's actually a mammal. Would it be considered?
So coral is its own different types of species. There's this thing called zooxanthellae, which is an algae that grows inside the coral.
Zooxanthellae?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna have to put that on screen. I'm gonna have to get Max, my video guy, to spell that out for us. But zooxanthellae?
Zooxanthellae.
Zooxanthellae.
Something like that. Yep.
Okay.
So without that algae, the coral will start to die off. So they have a symbiotic relationship with each other.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so coral is its own creature, and then each little polyp, so I know you said zoas, each little zoa is its own creature. Yep.
That is so cool. There's just so much to learn. I am so excited.
And not every single anemone a clownfish will host. It's usually only the bubble tips or like the long tentacles. So these beautiful rock flower nems, these are more just for look, and they don't really host anything.
And then on the terms of beginner-friendly anemones or corals in this world, like the softs or the hards, what would you recommend for like a green bubble tip? Would this be advanced, beginner, kind of in the middle?
Beginner to in the middle.
Okay.
Most anemones are easy to take care of as long as you have a coral light for them. It's just a lot of the anemones like to move around a lot, so you got to be careful with your wave makers and stuff like that, and they will sting other corals, so you kind of got to keep an eye out where they're moving around in your tank.
Wow, okay, so you have to like move them when you see them getting close to another one you don't want it to.
Yes, and then even then sometimes they'll move back because they'll have their foot on something. Sometimes they'll stick on that rock and stay there forever. Other times, if they want a better lighting spot, they'll move and steal other people's spots.
I love that. That's so cool. Okay,
one more thing before you guys go, I want to show
MK's
off
got us one
this
more
coral. Yes. So there's this thing called a sexy dancer shrimp. They host these carpet nems. So carpet nems can sting and eat other fish, but somehow these shrimp don't get stung by this nem, and they host it.
Look at those little shrimp shaking their little behinds.
So there's a bunch of different kinds of creatures that host different things.
That's so cool. Well, MK, thank you so much for giving us a tour of the
course.
coral world.
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited to deep dive into this and get some into our tank.
Yeah.
Let's, I guess, go ahead and get our clownfish and anemone and get them acclimated.
Awesome.
Heck yeah. And if you guys are in the area and, you know, want some saltwater fish or just want to ask some questions, come on over to Ocean Floor, and they're here to help you out with anything you need.
Again, my name's MK, and it's nice to meet y'all.
Well, we just got back from Ocean Floor, and all I did off camera, just to let you guys know, is I turned off the pump here and I turned off the light, and I let these bags acclimate for about 30 minutes. And what I'm trying to do is get the temperatures to match, and it's been about 30 minutes, so now it's the fun part. We're gonna go ahead, cut these bags open and put our anemone, clownfish, and we also got a little goby as well to put in there to be paired up with our pistol shrimp. And look at this guy. We're gonna put this in first, just so that this can hopefully get seated onto our reef rock and the clowns can find it when we release them into the tank. I was told that them being this young, you're able to grab them from the bottom. You might feel a little slime or a little tingle, but they're just juvenile enough that they're not really able to hurt you. And just like that, we have our first anemone in our tank. Now up for my wife's favorite fish, and Ocean Floor actually had one. It's the banded goby that we're gonna pair up with our pistol shrimp. So hopefully he goes over to where the pistol shrimp's at, and hopefully by the end of tonight, they will pair up and they actually form a symbiotic relationship. They will pair up with pistol shrimp, and the goby actually helps the pistol shrimp identify if there's any danger or if he needs any food, because pistol shrimp actually don't have the best eyesight, so the gobies hang out next to the pistol shrimp and they work in pair. Super awesome to watch. Now we got these little Necarious snails. These were the ones that they told us that will go into like the very bottom of your sand, and they actually clean up all the stuff that's in the sand and underneath the sand. And a cool little part about these guys is sometimes if you look close enough, you can see their little, I don't even know what to call it, but their little snail appendage will be sticking up out of the sand, but they would be fully buried. So with snails, we want to make sure we set them upright so that they don't do that and they don't flail all around. This guy doesn't want to come over. There he is. Necarious snails. Look at them, it looks like they're trying to bury already. Look at this guy go. And finally, introducing our little clownfish pair. They're little juveniles, so they're the perfect fit to grow up in our 15-gallon Hello Reef aquarium. Let's let them out and see where they go. Do they go straight to our new anemone? Wow, they are beautiful. Look how happy they look. They're so wiggly.